Hello, hello, and welcome to Awaken Your Human Design. My name is Moni, and this is my wonderful co-host Danny.
Mhm.
Welcome. We're excited to have you. Before we begin today, we're very excited to share that we have set up our donation page. So if you've been watching our shows and getting a whole lot out of it, and you really love us, and you want to support us, encourage us, and you wanted to donate to us, well, we finally have that available, so we can do that. I got this QR code that I made, and you can also just go straight to the link if that's easier. So it's coffee.com/awaken your human design. But you can also just scan that donation code up top if that is easier for you.
Ko-fi.com. Look at that. I
Yeah.
finally figured out how to use the code.
Oh, the QR code. We're
Yep,
teaching
yep.
Danny all sorts of new
All sorts
technology.
of new tricks, dude. All sorts of new tricks. Yep.
Yeah. And the other thing, so we are like this close to getting our official bookings page in. I thought I was going to have it for this week because it's been a trip, but a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're very close. So we're going to be announcing that really shortly. So
Accepting
if
volunteers as well. Accepting volunteers. If anyone wants to help, you get a lot out of it. Just call in, spend a couple hours, doing a few things, right, Moni? And getting
Yeah,
involved,
pretty
maybe.
much. It,
Yep.
it's mostly like, yeah, if somebody is very interested in what we're doing and you're like lit up, it's mostly a really good way to learn a lot of human design. And if you have
Yeah.
some kind of cool techie skills and you want to just even point the way, sometimes
Well,
like as
everyone
a
who helps gets to hang out in the backstage area where that's what we are. It's like, dude, it's totally good.
yeah, exactly. And then you get like readings from me and Danny. So there's a lot of fun and nerdery. And oftentimes I just need someone to hold my hand for a minute and like point me in the right direction as a projector. So if you're lit up by that, hit us up. So you could contact Danny. Here's his QR code. Look, I made you a QR code, Danny, with your
No
email.
way.
Yeah. So that you can
I have
either
arrived.
you've done it, you've made it. So if you want to email Danny, it's dannygg@dannyguru.com or scan that code if you want to talk to him. If you want to book a reading with him, you can do that. Like I said, we're working on that bookings page.
Really
We're
soon.
we're super, super close to it. I'm learning a lot of stuff. If you want to contact me, I have my little Moni QR code as well. And you can contact me at awakenyourhd@gmail.com. So if you want to do that, there are your options for such things. So we're learning new techie stuff. So
Nice.
starting off our show today, we're going to continue our fear series. So last year we went through the fears of the spleen. Last week we went through the fears of the spleen. So we're going to continue this fear series for spooky season with the Ajna fear gates and the mental fears that get us caught up here.
Yeah, so the ajna contains the ones that are closest in a way. I mean, the spleens are technically the closest at all times because they're the longest standing fears, but we don't necessarily interface with them the same way we do with ajna. Ajna, we roll it around, we think about it, we give it names, right? Until we recognize what those fears are for, because it's in the ajna. So we're afraid of all the things and the oppressive stuff that pours through and the lack of ability to put it all together. So we just fear the chaos of it all, of the mental torture. And so we're going to go through those fear gates so you can recognize, oh, wait a second, these are my intelligences. This is where I'm open to the intelligence of the fear that just taught me something. And we're going to give you a special trick to treat all your fears first as a spleen fear. We're going to teach everyone to pass them through, even the mind ones, because mind holds on to it over all of time, right? That's the frequency. And so, but we're going to teach you to pass it through.
That's really cool. I'm super excited. I was like, I'm that's new is even new information for me. So I'm pretty stoked about this. We learned a lot last week with those splenic fears, those survival fears, those like real life and death kind of things. So it'll be neat going through these ajna fears because like you said, it's like almost like they can consume you more. It's like if you're not in a shark infested water and there's not a tiger outside, most of us I think lead pretty safe lives or you can go home and feel pretty safe, I hope, you know but the mental ones, like, they can really drive you cuckoo.
I'm not good enough at work. I got this thing going on. She didn't respond. Da 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 da. Gatling gun.
Yeah. Well,
Indeed.
I'm excited to get into that. But before we do, thank you to everyone who is liking, subscribing, hanging out with us. We love having you. Thanks for being here, and let's dive into it.
Mm.
So, We went over this last week, but we're going to go through it again just to give us that foundation as we continue on. So, our awareness centers. Awareness centers, we can see here you have the spleen, you have the ajna, and you have the solar plexus. So, awareness centers are potential areas of consciousness and self awareness. And when this energy reaches the throat, it becomes an expression of conscious intelligence. So these three awareness centers, you have the spleen, which is those ancient survival, life and death kind of fears. Then the ajna, this is about mental intelligence and cognitive awareness. And then the solar plexus is emotional and spirit intelligence, as well as relational and social awareness. So these different awareness centers, they focus and interpret life experiences as mind, body, or spirit awareness.
Yeah, and we have a spirit awareness. Just anybody who's wondering what that is and you don't have a scientific name for it yet, just get over it. Everybody knows the spirit is half full, the spirit is empty, the spirit is overflowing, the spirit is high, spirit is low. What a spirited conversation. It's there, right? It's everywhere. So just accept that. That's our emotional stuff. And then the splenic stuff that's on the right, and then the splenic stuff on the left down below. Yeah, this is the stuff that's just immediate, moment to moment to moment. You smell oh, it's burning. That's moment to moment. It's like, oh shoot, soup's,
I left the gas on.
left it something, whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
the car's still running. Run out and do that because
Oh
it's
no, creepy guy
ears.
across the street, run.
Right. Ears, nose, taste, sense, the sound that can come into the body of any type of vibration. When I say sound, it's any vibration that comes into the body. We just call that sound. And then you get the ajna, the toy box. We're always calling it the toy box. This is the home of literally where we are not self and the true expression of our true self. And these two things are at odds inside one awareness center. Now, the awareness centers are here to drive consciousness, to push it forward, to make us ever more aware of our own place in this flow, and to finally answer the question of the head center pressure, which is to translate the reason for our existence. I mean, we're always trying to translate our existence. And the more we get together, the more we get there. And the ajna holds all of these details, right? It holds all of these possible conceptual expressions because the ajna's whole job is to, over all of time, I have memory. I mean, it's right there. It's right below the head center. So it's in total communion with the deep gray area. It conceptualizes and draws from the rest of the brain, everything. Memories back to when you were, 4 and 3, potentially. What it doesn't matter. And it grabs a hold of it and it creates a fear out of it. That's its very first mechanical action. It's as a chemistry, the brain is literally turning it into a concern. Take fear and swap it out for the word concern.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot
Yeah,
of sense.
most of them aren't like, because fear, people think fear of, dying. So they fear is,
Danger.
yeah, danger, stranger, danger, right. And so it can be that totally, and it is plenty of times, but it's just this concern, this gnawing concern, and we're supposed to let it flow through is the thing. And so we're supposed to see so much comes in and then we let it flow through. But when we don't, our awareness is blunted because we're spent our time inside that fear. That fear is not actually something we're supposed to spend our time inside of, except for once in a while. Once in a while, and your whole body will tell you that, and you'll get right into the now because it's really real. We really got to do something here, that type of thing. So over all of time, we're supposed to take this conceptualizing that we do and measure this and measure that and contain language and have all kinds of sound and noise and racket that turns into concepts we speak right out of our throat. And that becomes our outer authority. What Dan, what Moni says to the world comes out of this center because this center does all the metamorphosis of translating that stuff into language. You can see it right on the 3 gates at the top of the throat. Now, they're not numbered on this chart, but it doesn't matter. Right up there, those 3 gates, 62, 23, and 56, from left to right, their sole job is to metamorphosize the noise from upstairs into language through details and stimulating idea in this, and then sudden expression, 23, to split apart and pull back together. They give us our intelligence. All these centers work together. The rest of the animal kingdom doesn't quite have it this way. And so this particular one, these fears, they lead to mental anxiety. They take us away from our nature. When we're seeing them for what they are, they lead us to an outer expression that is truly ourselves, that we stop regretting the stuff we say or didn't say. And it's really just that simple in a lot of ways.
That's very interesting.
Mm, yep.
Ready, Mosey?
Sure.
So starting off, we're going to deep dive to explain the Ajna as an awareness center. So this Ajna, the Ajna fears, these concerns of the Ajna, this can show up as anxiety and mental fears. Anxiety over things, mental fear, Maya fears, Maya being that which we are in this like program. So fears about the Maya and fears of illusion, that like your mind's just going to make stuff up to explain a story. And this is a place where fears can be created, where no fear is necessary.
It's just we invent it. Monsters. Monsters live here. They don't
I
live in
know.
the spleen. Spleen's like monster what? Monster schmonster. I don't smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it, hear it.
And spleen is like run, like go
Yeah,
survive. Look, you did it, you survived. It's like survival fears, which once you're safe, it's cool. The mind can make you go cuckoo.
literally. So this anxiety over things, it's mental nervousness. All of these are sort of a nervousness, and this one is mental anxiety and nervousness over things that are concepts, that are illustrations you've made in your mind. You invented them. Doesn't mean that they're not real, because the invention of them is sometimes because there's something really here.
There's a source to it, but it gets like convoluted.
It gets convoluted and goes. What it's supposed to be is the water is boiling over, the pot is too small, the lid is way over there, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, shoot, this is going to be a mess, and what, not good. And that's it. It leaves. That's how the spleen does it. All of our fears we're supposed to treat as spleen fear in that mechanical way, so that we can see if we can just let it pass through. That's the trick to all of this. And you watch yourself. Oh God, I wasn't able to let a single one pass through today. Good, you're watching. Thank you. Tomorrow will be different. Because sooner or later, what happens is you start letting you, because you realize they didn't matter. This is pressurized. This is an awareness center with one pressure center dedicated solely to it, the head center. The head center says, hey, you're under pressure to translate existence. Come up with some measurements. Translate existence pressure doesn't go straight to have an emotional wave about it and tell me how you feel. It doesn't go straight to the spleen. What'd you notice about this? What'd you notice about that? No, like right in the moment, it goes to the thing that holds on to memory over all of time to say, keep measuring, kid. Keep measuring, kid. You're under pressure. Measure, conceptualize, come up with, talk about it, share it, empower the others, support us, get into it, empower yourself with it, right in the now, all of it. And this mental anxiety in the Maya says, I'm afraid of all of it. Maya is just another word for totality in a way. Totality mostly weighted towards where all the people are, like us, because that's where we are. Where the people are and everything there, all the buildings, everything is the Maya. It's this theater we go to theater in, where we're also actors in it. And we're also the audience. We're both. It's the whole thing is the Maya, the stage, and then us in it. And then we start to realize these fears, they do become an illusion. It's not necessary. Please start to recognize, if you let even one fear just come in and go out, I promise you, within anywhere from 10 minutes to by the next day at the most, if you write it down, you'll find out it didn't matter. You'll find out it didn't matter. That's the experiment, to teach yourself it didn't matter. Now, if you do it, you'll start seeing it. And if everyone knows, I always say it, seeing it kills it. Seeing it fixes it, aligns things. It kills the conditioning. It kills the capacity for conditioning to run our lives fully. It blunts it. It slows it down until finally it starts to truly shrivel up. Moni, you can attest to that. Yet it's still there. It's still gnawing at us. It's just that we put it where it needs to go quickly. Allow the fear to run through, and recognize how quickly it didn't matter. And that's for all of them, because their fears are natural. We need them. If you're afraid of being rejected, suddenly, you know what I mean? You might retool the concept and sharpen it. Every fear here is to sharpen a concept into something logical abstractly applicable, individually knowable in the now as some breakthrough. It's all there to advance that. These fears advance all of that as long as you let them pass through. Otherwise, what they advance is mayhem, and the toy box turns into the crappy, muddy, been rained on too long, rotten wood, rusty, nailed toys don't work box. So, right?
Yeah, I like what you're saying, and it makes me think of trying to identify fears as they arise as messengers that are just coming through. It's just here to
Mm,
tell you a little message and then like continue on its way. But if we get stuck on it, it's like that wave, right? It's like, like a heartbeat, or if you're watching like a
yep.
wave go through, it's like that wave just needs to make itself through to be like, hey, maybe be aware of this thing. And then you're like, cool, now I'm aware of this thing. As opposed to, okay, be aware of this thing. You're like, oh my God, this is a thing, this is a thing. I'm freaking out, I'm freaking out, I'm freaking out.
When you're doing that, think about it. You're still aware of it, but all your awareness is now concerned with a fear that you're not. It's all concerned with the what the not self does with things, the old seven-centered, conditioned, programmed way, which
Hmm.
is the not self. And and that's now running the show as soon as you're doing it that second way you were just saying. But when you do it the first way that you had said, you're exactly right. You're like, oh, do I even need? And then suddenly awareness can work for you. Same awareness. And the one that works for you is the one that says, God, I guess I can let it go. Let's find out. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Hmm.
And then you start, and then you get on this magical mystery mind tour of recognizing that, oh my God, most of this stuff doesn't, oh my God, I'm not very good at it yet. Oh my God, sometimes when I am good at it, it certainly feels a lot better. Why am I not better at letting it go? Oh my God, I'm talking to myself and I see why. I'm going through things that are me. It's like you got to ask yourself who's noticing. That's the real you. Witnessing there's a fake veneer fiat currency version of you. There's a colorable color of law version of you that says I'm this is what I'm not, but you don't quite know it because you're so used to it. Let the fear go through, and you will see that 99% of them were not for you, and they set you free, and you set yourself free.
That's all really good. The other thing I wanted to address is the idea of like the Ajna as this toy box, and it's basically a simulation factory. Whatever you put into your brain can like simulate a story and be like, oh, okay, cool, and da 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 da. And that could be really great stuff or it could be really horrible stuff. Like we can go in all directions. Like the mental capacity is endless. And so what I've noticed about myself that I've really been trying to be extra careful of, especially is like as a projector and super energy and sensitive and empathic and all such things, I will often pick up data about something. And as you said, as a source, there is something maybe off or creepy or not okay about the energy or a person or whatever situation I'm in. But I need to be more careful to just recognize it as that because my ajna, my undefined ajna with that gate 24, just going over stuff and going over it, can turn it into it's almost like it's trying to understand the fears and energy and distorted energy that I pull in. And it's like, oh, you're feeling this weird energy. Well, why? And then it comes up with this crazy cuckoo banana story. And then it'll just take over where it's just like, okay, that was completely insane. But it had a source point of a truth. There was a fear, there was something off, but recognizing that this, especially undefined head and ajna that can just spin its wheels in whatever craziness, to recognize that it's perceiving something that might have whatever level of validity, but once it runs through the ajna as a means of trying to make sense of this weird distortion you're feeling, and it can come up with a crazy story that's going to filter into your experiences and then completely go into insanity land.
Yes, hence mental anxiety, mental nervousness. This center is the home of having to take all kinds of various things,
Hmm.
to quell your anxiety. I don't know the names of these things, but there's lots of commercials about them,
Yeah, that's a
right?
great way to phrase it. That's a perfect
Yeah,
way to phrase
yeah.
it.
And so, but the thing is, and then all the names that get come up with regarding it, all these names are a mixture of things we're about to tell you about these fears. When I say all of them, I don't know if it's all of them, but I'm just saying so much of it you'll see is a mixture of, oh, when you add these up, well, you get this thing, you get that thing, and you realize, no, that's me hanging on to the fear. I'm supposed to let it go through, just like a meditation.
Perfect. Ready, Mosey?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Oh, I clicked too many. There we go. So we're going to start off with collective abstract fears of the ajna. And this is life processing. Life processing is rewarded. Life process. The collective abstract is about the life process being rewarding and valuable. I did it. Starting off with gate 47, which is a fear of futility or that life is pointless, like your experiences are pointless. And so gate 47 is about trying to make sense of things, and it has a burden of translating the past, finding hope and value. The key is finding hope and value in the little things.
Yeah, and burden is what it feels like as it is oppressing you. The I Ching's original language for this gate was oppression, because what comes in from above it in gate 64 to give it its pressure, its natural pressure that will keep it on at all times, it's called confusion um, before completion. Yeah, and so it's confusion before you ever get anything done. And so at the end of the day, it's receiving heavy duty confusion pressure. And if it can't make sense of it, it's here to make sense of an abstract process. It ties in deeply with the emotional abstract process down below. Be aware of that, just like on the other side does the same on the spleen side. And it takes that abstract energy and it's making a story out of it sooner or later, and it's trying to come to its realization. This is the thing that toils and toils over the what if of this and the possibility of that, and the capacity, like a good editor, to put so many film clips together and start to make a conceptualized in living color story about what it all means. It's great if you want to learn human design. It just might take you an extra 4 or 5 years to actually get there because it's so confusing. And you've got to go through it, and the mind never stops. And it is oppressive until you realize I'm just floating in a sea of realizations. My mind is so amazing. If I have this gate, I can, if it's in an open center, I can count that intermittently. I'm going to have these amazing realizations. If it's in a defined center, I'm going to be like working on those realizations, and they're going to be coming to me in various ways that almost make me sound like I'm damn sure. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not yet, I'm still working on it. And that realization is heavy duty. It's an epiphany moment because so many things came together. Very often, you can't even explain it. You can't even tell a story about it until you get there. It feels like futility, and this futility is oppressive, and you're just never going to get anywhere. I'm never going to figure this out. I have too much mail. I can't answer it all. Everything. I'm too confused. I don't know. Let them foreclose. Let them what you let them take it. Let whatever. So confusing, you could actually give up things, and you have at times with this fear because you held on to it rather than, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still just as confusing, but you still let the fear part go. And then you start to surrender to what you can't have in the first place. It helps you a great deal down below in the format channel as to what to start and what to complete. So this is a huge help down there, by the way. The clarity up here lends so much to the format channel down there. Yep.
Mosey?
Sure. Anything you want to say about this? I went sort of big picture on it.
I've really no, I mean I enjoyed you saying it, and like I like when you said with because 47 links up with gate 64 and that it's confusion before you complete something.
Right.
Like
Yeah. It's
I don't know, it's like and I've heard it 68 64 is before completion and confusion. I've heard that a million times, but it hadn't
Will
clicked
it
that,
complete? Yeah. It has so much to do with that emotional process down below. Gate 30 is ringing with, I am confused before we complete it. Will the fates get in the way? 36 is, I'm confused. I'm inexperienced. I'm but scared. 35 is like, hurry up and get here already. And I'll tell you if I don't like it. And 41 is just putting out pressure. But you see, they all go together, you know?
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that just like clicked in a different way of like 64 is confusion before completion, and it's sending out those images, those abstract images. The storytelling side is the abstract side, and then gate 47 is like, ah, it's too much. I don't know what to do with it. Ah, it's
Right.
futile. And like, I
Yes.
just imagine like a film editor with like so much just piling on, or like what is it, the Harry Potter when he gets the Hogwarts letters and like Dudley or was it Dursley won't let him have his Hogwarts letters, and then more and more letters keep coming in until like
Yes.
the whole house is full of letters fears. That's what I imagine gate
Like when Bruce
47
Almighty had to open the filing cabinet, right, for all the
of everyone's
prayers.
prayers. Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
God, yeah, and no, that's exactly what it is. So you don't hang on to the fear, even though you still remember the information. That's a heavy duty trick. And that's what I told people as we go through each of these, you're going to realize, I said, you're going to get a trick in all of this. And I already sort of gave it to you, what you need to do this. It's very practical. And so, good luck with all of that. Let
We'll
yourself
repeat
tell
what the
yourself
trick
this
is.
story. Well, the trick was that you have to find out how quickly it becomes obvious that it didn't matter,
Mm,
that its level of importance might have been a 1, 2, or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. And getting milk for your wife is definitely 7 and 8. You know what I'm saying? Mundane things were far more important than whatever this futile effort thing was inside of you. It was just there to say, is it futile? I don't know. I guess I'm still going to be confused about it for a while longer until the epiphany aha moment of realization takes place. Realization puts together everything, thousands of things into one. And the reason it's confusion before completion, further, the reason of it is because right up to the moment of showtime, when you're about to say the thing, you're still working out those confusions. You're still making, do I add a little more? This film clip, that film clip? How about I take this one out right before I say it? So right up to the moment of performance, meaning you're about to share it with somebody, you're still working that stuff out. You're working it out while you're sharing it with them. It never really stops. It's a refining process, just like on the other side. This is a little bit dirtier of a refining process because it gets messy. On the other side, it's more like a scalpel of a refining process, but these are refining processes. So refining pressure to translate our own existence. It's beautiful.
great. All right, now you ready to mosey?
Now we're ready to mosey. Thank you, Moni.
No, yeah, thank you for asking me about it because I appreciate you kind of prompting me with like my open throat projector. I need some prompting sometimes.
Yeah.
So continuing on, so gate 47, the stream of that energy goes from the left to the right side. So that's why I have the little arrow on the graphic here so you can see. So continuing on to gate 11. And so gate 11 has mental anxiety over darkness and emptiness, and the
Mm.
hope and desire for what could be, seeking the light, idealism, and utopia. The fear is that the past does not show the light, and the need is to create a sense of hope.
The Wicked needs to do that because this creating of the sense of hope and the sense of a little bit of wonder and the sense of trying to make it interesting comes from all the stuff that the mental process right above it was feeding it. Oppressive confusion coming out in millions of bits of data that finally are getting wrangled into a aha moment. This can only hope. Oh my God, look at that beautiful idea that has coalesced. I hope I can get its light out onto the world. These two gates, 47 and 11, are, of course, and this is abstract collective. So we get the other side will still remain collective. And the collective keynote is sharing. And we've talked about that. That sharing isn't like an offer that you think about once in a while. If you've got these gates, that sharing is profound. The need to share is profound. I think we can say that about all the collective gates, and they're inherently social, and they want to talk about it, and they got lots of stuff to say. This is a very talkative being if they have both of these gates, especially if it's in a defined center, or at least it has the potential to be. And gate 11, sphere of darkness, is the darkness of the idea never reaching the light. It's a spiritual fear in a way, the darkness that just doesn't reach the light, but in your own emotional sort of internal sphere, your internal light expression in towards yourself, the darkness is, I can't share it. And so it's technically remains in a closet, it remains in the drawer, with all the other utensils. It's one utensil amongst many, and that's not stimulating. This ultimate goal is to manifest through the act of stimulation, not that dissimilar from the manifesting through the act of desire and hunger. Both are stimulating. This one's verbal in nature. And do notice it crosses over the ajna. There's two mixing zones like this, and they're the two pressure centers. So it starts up where you think all the rest of the collective data would start off, a collective logical. However, it goes right across and it goes to gate 11 down the rest of the collective way. So it creates a mixing inside the ajna. It creates a vortex. So recognize that vortex as it moves. The vortex is picture 47 to 11, then picture 17 to 4, then 43 to 24, then 11 to 47. Just picture this arrow moving around like that, constantly flipping back and forth. It creates a vortex in the center. It creates a mixing zone, literally, of where because energy is pouring through. So it's a mixing zone for conceptualizing. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when we talk about aura and like the human energy field, it's a toroid shape, basically a donut shape. And so that we have this donut shape, basically we're in the center of the donut, we're in the center of the inner tube, and the energy is going out and around, but it's like this double layer thing. So it makes sense that we have this like vortex up in the ajna and then this vortex down in the root center because if you think about it with the donut shape around your body, like it makes sense with this toroid shape that is going
Oh,
around us that these vortexes are happening.
you're also describing the poles of magnetic Mother Earth.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, of course,
totally,
it's
right?
as above, so below. Like it's all going
As
to
well, so
interact
yes, yes, yes.
on
I'm
earth
sure
as
we'll
it
be
is in
able to
heaven.
liken this to our binary computer code sooner or later too. Anyway, um, so that's what it is. Gate 11 sphere is I've got the stimulating idea. It's peaceful inside of me. The gate of peace, by the way, is another name for this gate, creating the channel of curiosity. And it's designed to just be curious and it's designed to always be seeking. And as it seeks, when it finally gets to the throat and is able to talk, it's always saying, let me tell you a story. And it's always in a stimulating way. It's got some stimulating tone of voice as opposed to the other side, which is different. It's factual more so and sort of that way. Um, my ideas, they are at peace because when the confusion, and the reason it's called peace is because by the time the confusion goes through the oppressiveness and the realizations start to pour through, the realizations are stuck in that person, like me, because I don't have a gate 11. I just have the channel of 6447. And so I don't have a gate 11 for that idea to really go out. And so, once it gets to this gate 11, the piece is it got settled up there. And I have new concept worth stimulating the other with. When it's upstairs, I've got concept worth stimulating the other with, but it's still going through its film clip cycle. So it's hard. When I explain something to someone, it's like, Dan, you're bouncing all over the place. But when 11 starts to explain it, it's more cohesive because the throat gate, which is still seeking, if as long as you surrender the fact that 11 is seeking, not always and searching, not always finding or getting, sometimes it does, and more often than not, it doesn't. It's just moving towards. That's the journey part. And then this gate captures it and says, you guys have already done the hard part. And now it's my job to do the conceptualizing that will speak to and be of value to and the right fuel for 56, which will metamorphosize that light imaging, that left eye abstract imagery that can coalesce into language and usually through storytelling. So tell me, Moni, what travels faster, storytelling and rumors or facts and textbooks?
Storytelling and rumors, or oral history,
Oral
oral
history.
oral stories, whatever you want to call it.
My kids were excited when I could read a story. That was really cool, but the story still had to get stimulating to them. It never worked if it wasn't stimulating. I couldn't just read it. Wah, 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 wah. We're designed to add all kinds of juice. And so much of that juice comes from the 47, all the work it did to, get through the oppression.
Yeah, absolutely. I was laughing when you were talking about it because you're like, you have the 6447 and you pop all over the place. And 11 like kind of puts it more into something. I'm like, oh, that's us because I have gate 11. And you kind of
Yeah,
pop around and I'm like, hang on, let me put this into something.
that happens,
Every
doesn't it? It really
All the
does.
time. All the
Yep.
time. And just overall, like I was like laughing the whole time you were speaking about Gate 11. I was like, oh my God, I feel this so hard because it is. It's like it's such an excitement over having an idea and I want to share the idea and I have all these cool ideas and they're constantly popping in my head. And there's almost this sense of like if I could just share this idea and if somebody could just
Hunger.
listen to me. Yeah, like if somebody could just listen to me, it could be really, really cool. Just like let me like hear me out. And I find because I have 11 without the 56, my 11 is yearning. It's like clawing at 56 as like 56 is that stimulation, that light. I think even part of its hexagram has like the fire trigram. I know my 11 yearns for it. If I could just be stimulating enough and interesting enough and make it fun and performative, then they'll pay attention and then they'll listen to my ideas. Like,
Moni, it's so gorgeous what you're demonstrating and what you're proving to everyone and yourself and to me and what we're noticing is the fact that We in communion, we transcend the gates we don't have. Because I don't have 56 neither. And there you are being stimulating and explaining. That's why our movement from spirit, the spirit awareness of trying to get to the direction of beauty, moving towards communion, that's why, because it then transcends the rest of the body graph in various versions. Every two people will be different, but it keeps transcending rather than getting stuck in. So I find that beautiful.
Absolutely. Ready, Mosey?
Hmm.
So, tying these two together, the little tip or hint is to process past futility. Spot the value in small experiences, channel it into hopeful ideas that light the way forward.
Totally. This processing the past confusion that seemed futile, but by the way, it's not always futile. Sometimes it's fun and you're lost in the muse because you're getting close, and then that closeness starts to ring the bell of the ideas, and the ideas are at peace, is the thing, until they get an idea. And then they're either afraid that that idea won't go anywhere. And in the moment, that fear can literally it'll let itself go when it recognizes it wasn't the right timing. And that's the seeing it kills it part. The seeing it fixes everything and puts it in place. And so this movement guarantees there's a mixing up of concepts in the ajna, starting with 47 and the capacity to have realizations about concepts in the mind by putting this with that and this with that and juxtaposing the most creative, amazing things that don't normally go together. They go together here. They go together all throughout the ajna, but they definitely go together here.
Leah wrote, in communion, we transcend the gates we don't have, which was a Danny quote.
Oh my God, can I put that in quotes, please? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey
Yeah.
guys, I forget. I probably didn't get back to you on Instagram, did I? Um, you can tell me here what I need to do next.
I'm giving her my email and we can go from there.
No, they got mine too. Yeah,
I know, but you don't respond as well. All right, we're gonna
that's so funny.
mosey.
Mosey.
Mosey, mosey. So now we are diving into the individual circuitry of the ajna and these ajna fears. These are personal mental anxieties with individual circuitry. So starting off with gate 24, this is mental anxiety over ignorance. And it's about trying to codify what's new, making it palatable. And it can be a dreadful anxiety that the world will be ignorant of what we must tell them.
Yes, because if the world's ignorant, then nothing is going to work, and this gate can't empower anything. It's in the individual circuitry. So remember, its life purpose, a big portion of it, is to empower the other with something. So all the mental anxiety as it relates to figuring something out in this gate that we call the gate of rationalization, and the old I Ching language was the return, a very mystical sounding name. And what this is doing is it's taking our mental awareness to return to the scene of the crime and keep returning to the thing that we need to make personal sense of as it relates to coming to a new knowing about stuff that's coming in now. It's not the abstract which takes all of the past and puts it together. And it's not to say 24 won't work on things that are of the past, but it's working in that one particular thing now and returning to it. If you have a gate 24, open center or defined, it doesn't matter. You're going to return. A concept will come by, and if it's somehow, especially if it bothers you, or if it's wicked exciting, one of the two things, if it lights you up in negative or positive, you're going to start returning to it. There's more negative than positive on this planet at this point in a lot of ways inside of the conditioned world. But yeah, return, come back, hit it again. It suddenly seems obsessive. And suddenly you can start asking your own self, is there something wrong with me? I can't turn it off. Once again, doc, I need or something, things can happen here that don't need to happen yet. We need to witness that this particular fear, this fear of ignorance, it just means it's true. You don't know right now. We're not responsible to know everything right now. It doesn't mean stop returning. It means stop being afraid that you return. The fear of ignorance is designed to make you return to it. The fear of futility takes all kinds of confusion. There's 100 and 1,000 and 200 and this many things, and this one is more focused on a thing, or it might be a batch of things, or a group, or a clique, or a set, but it's still funneling into this thing that you're returning to. Why'd that guy say that? Why'd that guy say that? Why'd that guy say that? You know, and the other guy, hey Tina, do you know so and so? Why would he say such and such? Da, 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 da. Look, Facebook. What's he do? Maybe why did he say that? Why did he say that? Why did he say that? So it's sort of a thing, and then you're obsessive about it. Yeah, you got this gate.
I do. Everything you're saying, I'm like, it
Tell
is.
us about it,
It's
Moni.
like
Tell us
a
about the
hamster
24
wheel.
in an open center, people.
In an open center, yeah. The Gate 24 in an open center, it can be maddening. It's just a hamster in a wheel that's not going anywhere, and you just want to go somewhere and you want to get to the thing. And if I could just untangle this thing, then I can get past it. But it's just hung up on something that is just gnawing at you. It can be super maddening.
Mm. And it stays there. What alleviates it finally? Can you say?
I like when Gate 61 is lit up. I've noticed that. When
Okay.
Gate 61 is lit up, it's like the thing comes through and there's actually a connection as opposed to 24 is just looping in something, but it's just up there. It's not connected to anything in my chart. So it's just like dee 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 dee. Like whereas like when
The
the six
hamster wheel. That's a good one.
yeah. Yeah, right? And then 61 is lit up. There can be like, oh my God, this like unique knowing that comes through. I've noticed that is good. Or it's like, if I could just talk through the thing with somebody, which can be a big ask because like I feel like I take in so much, and because I have this completely open throat, it can't make it out to the throat. So all this energy just kind of gets stuck until I'm like, please, can somebody just listen to me without taking it personally or getting like upset about something when I'm saying, like it just
Right.
needs to come out.
Right.
So that can be a thing, or maybe some peak experience that comes through with some knowing of like, oh, this is what I was supposed to learn from that, and you finally get to that point of like, this was just a lesson all along, and what did you learn along the way? And then there's like, well, that was a hard way to learn that stupid lesson. We couldn't make that a little bit easier. Um, that's what I
All
find.
the individual definition is running with the empowered feeling and sometimes dread of the world will be ignorant. We must empower them.
I need to
So
help them.
I need to something, and everyone needs to know, and for me too. If everyone else knows, I'm safe in my knowing now. And that's
Yeah,
a
I noticed a weird thing, and you should know this thing, and no one else is noticing it. There's a weird guy. Why does nobody else notice this weird guy? And then, but I look like the crazy one because no one notices the creep in the bushes. So I'm
right.
just like freaking out. I'm like, no, there's a thing. I promise you, there's a thing that I'm actually concerned about, even though I just look crazy.
Now this thing does not want to tell a story. It does not want to tell a story. It wants to get out a complete mental knowing that has its beginning, its middle, and its end, as it relates to it's compact and it can impact the other, and it's all tied up in a bow.
It wants to
Too co-
untangle the knot. It wants to like demat it and like make it all
yeah,
clear.
and turn it back into a nice pretty bow. A nice pretty bow you'd see
Yeah,
on top of a
something is
nice
like
dress.
all tangled up, and it's like if
Yep.
I could just go through it, I could just go through it, and it's like you can't until finally you're like, no, I had to put the thing here and do this, and then it like loosens.
The two collective ones aren't that way.
Mm.
This one's trying to tap in and make one thing a nice, pretty bow. But again, back to one thing, or essentially one set of things. It's got oneness to it. The collective has allness to it
Oh, yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
all times. The collective sees, and it's got right eye, left eye stuff. This individual stuff is straight up sound, and sound as a
Mm.
vibration that could be anything. Like the rumble of a truck will vibrate your body. The sound that is even thought is in a frequency that we call sound. We just call it sound so that you can understand sound means inside the mind and the body. Sound means all the frequencies from the lowest of the ultraviolet red and below that, actually even below that, the lowest bass sound on a piano, below even that, the movement of the earth on the low side, right? Mom, I can hear the rotation of the earth. Who is that? Lucy. you know, that I don't even know what that sounds like, low, all the way up to electromagnetic stuff and frequencies that are much higher. We're taking it all into our body and we call it sound for the sake of calling it something. And that sound vibrational awareness in the mental process goes through 61 down to 23. 61, 24, 43, 23. And so it makes that straight line, and its uniqueness is designed to mutate and its rationale of something is something that can't be there. You have to surrender to this ignorance because it's not coming on your time frame. When is it coming, Moni? It's not,
In a
it's coming.
pulse when it just comes through.
Yeah, independent of will. So the
Mm.
return goes crazy when it wills itself to know. And when it forgets about it and just lets the return come naturally, sooner or later, the pulse comes independent of your will. And, and now you know. So this one has to surrender. And if you stay at it, you'll find you go gray too soon. You get this too soon, too soon, all these things that come too soon, because you stayed in this mentally anxious. I mean, look at the anxiety, ignorance. That's a pretty big one. Ignorance will kill you. Ignorance is no good. The world can't live in actual ignorance, and ignorance is huge. What? I'm ignorant. I didn't know. Well, I want to know. That I'm right. That's a
Why didn't
natural.
somebody tell me?
Why didn't somebody tell me? I don't want to be ignorant to this, dude. I can't let my ignorance get in the way. I don't want to make that decision. I'm ignorant. We do a lot of stuff for the sake of ignorance. So spotting it, meaning I keep returning, change the word return to I'm still ignorant. What am I worried about the other people for yet? I'm still ignorant until that's what it is, until the return has fleshed it out and new knowing comes through in what 43 gives as a sudden insight, which when we get to that, we'll see its fear. I'm afraid of ignorance. I'm afraid of the pressure that says the pressure to solve a mystery now, the gate of mystery above, creating the channel of the thinker. It's just thinking now. It doesn't mean turn off the thinking. It means reframe the dang fear. Recognize how much only a little nuance of these fears might matter tomorrow. You got to write one of them down. That's the trick. So you can see it didn't matter. It didn't matter again. Dang, it didn't matter again. Oh, that one mattered a little bit more. Okay, but I'm seeing a pattern. It mostly doesn't matter. And if I can say that about your fears, and you can all of a sudden start to internalize as I look closely at it, and most of it doesn't matter, I'm going to worry less. Oh, the fear came through. Don't it, sooner or later it turns into it might matter. I don't know. I'm playing cards with my friends right now. So the return can just go away. I return, I come back, I return, I come back. I seem mentally obsessive. I have mental anxiety over looking mentally obsessive and wondering if something is wrong with me. I have mental anxiety over why do I keep returning? Am I the irrational? No. You're simply the ignorant until the pulse shows up. And by the way, you're doing all of that for the rest of us. So why don't you go ahead and get a little entitled and say, hey, I'm doing this for you guys. Don't rush me. And maybe you'll say that to yourself as well. Don't rush me, self. It's not up to me. It's independent of will when the pulse comes.
I couldn't help but think of Big Lebowski. He's like, I'll tell
Oh,
you what I'm blathering about. New information, new shit has come to life, man. Like, it's the kind of thing of, like, this individual circuitry is like, new shit has come to
new stuff will
life.
come to life, man. Yeah, totally. I gotta watch that again.
We
That
can
was
watch it
classic.
together anytime. We'll do a little
Yeah.
watch party. It'll be great. All right, you ready, Mosey?
Yep.
Perfect. Gate 43, the fear of the rejection of insight. And this is when the individuality is personally rejected and the failure to successfully explain yourself and being shunned and exiled, or the fear of being shunned and exiled because you have some weird, unique knowing that's coming through and you can't get it out.
This is the energy and the life force that creates the keynote of this channel, structuring, because it structures the impossible into something now coming out, being assimilated through gate 23, the gate of assimilation. This is where we get the keynote of genius to freak in this channel. And everyone who's got this channel, or even a 43 only, they know that sense of sometimes I'm a genius and sometimes I'm a freak, because what can be put together here has a type of amorality to it, just like 34 does. And meaning it's not concerned yet with all the scruples to what is it that's being put together in the insight. It's getting to the insight. And that insight is what the I Ching called it. And what we call it is breakthrough. And that breakthrough is so incredible that the same hunger you described for 11 to share, this breakthrough has to be spoken. And someone must listen that I may empower them. And it's hard when you can't get it out. I think you have a 23. I know I do.
I have 43.
43,
I don't have the
43.
23. So I have the
Yep.
unique knowing that comes in. And I'm like, oh my God, I know the secrets of the universe. And then it's
Right.
like, and I'm like,
Same
I swear
here,
to God, it
Marty.
was so good. I was really good. I did, ugh, why can't I get it out? That's gate 43 hanging.
So both Moni and I have this gate. We both know what it feels like. I have a sudden breakthrough. I have a third and a fifth line. My third line is like, we'll break through despite any condemnation, any regress, any trespass by the other to make you stop. It doesn't matter. It's going to do it anyways. It's going to break through, even if it becomes the freak, in other words. And still, we transcend. We don't have 23 together.
No, but
Could
even
have
then,
fooled me.
yeah. Yeah, I know, right? We talk enough for it. Yeah, but even with the 43-23, it's like that's where you really see that freak to genius thing. My boyfriend has this. And when it's right and people want to hear from him and he says something, it's like, "Oh my goodness, that's genius. Why didn't I think of it?" And other times if he just starts spouting something, it's just like, "What are you even saying?" It's like really is
Right.
that freak of like, "I don't understand you. Why are you saying that? Shut up, go away. Go hide."
It's so true. All of it is about making a concept. It took 24's return. Look at 24 like it's dripping in, sort of like 18 does to 48. It drips in this thing, it drips in that, it drips in the various things, but it still hasn't turned into the breakthrough. And then the aha moment. These are all about aha moments because they're mental and our outer authority speaks. And so we can actually say out loud, aha. It's just you wouldn't quite say aha with a spleen thing, and you're definitely not saying aha so much with an emotional thing that you're talking about deeply. You know, it doesn't stop at aha. Um,
Yeah,
this
the
one
light
is
bulb, there's the reason you have the light bulb over the head in
over the
cartoons
head
because it just
and not
pops
over
into
your
the
heart.
head.
You're right,
Yeah,
totally. It's
you have
that
different
light
analogies
bulb.
there.
Yeah, and the light bulb's always going off, and this one's hunger to break through is ravenous. It wants to break through because at the end of it is a structure and a mutative new structure designed to help order society in an ordered framework that guarantees cooperative success. That's what this is trying to empower. It's trying to empower all of that in support of gate 7 to 31, in support of 8 and 1, and in support of 13 and 33, coming off of the top of the top of the G center to the throat center, and it's trying to empower all of that. All of these are, but this one specifically is trying to put out the thing that brings a new knowing that makes it all work. And so, in that assimilation of trying to get out here, its fear is it's too freaky. I'll be rejected. I'll be rejected. They're not going to like me. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I even think I sound like a freak, and heavy duty embarrassment can come through here, and then suddenly shame. You can try and get out of the whole crowd. I'm just trying to get out of there. Try. It can cause you to just this
Go
fear of
hide in a
rejection.
hole.
Yes, 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 and or just or no, it shouldn't be rejected, but you're still afraid of it because you start seeing it happen, or this is just a signal, just like 11. I should have said it before with 11 to recognize it's not the right timing for this breakthrough. This is all where we start to really get to the timing. The top three gates, we work on what's coming in, and here where we're working on what's going out, it's concerned with the timing. If the other is not open and receptive and they're not listening, the timing is wrong and you will be a freak. And then suddenly the other's like, wait a second, what did you say? And maybe something comes back in a day or so or later in that conversation. And it dawns on them because they're receiving your breakthrough. Every time you make the statement to somebody that you have this breakthrough over and they start to get it, they're receiving your breakthrough through your outer authority. That's a moment of deep, deep communion. Oh my God, you get it too. It's like we're almost best friends in that magnetic moment, right? For at least that moment, we're close and it means something. And that has great meaning. And once we've empowered the other, we can empower everyone else. Remember, we transcend together. We don't transcend individually. We transcend a little. We have certain transcensions individually, but fully we transcend in communion and together with the other and others. So don't fear rejection. It's just there to let you know might not be the right timing. Look at rejection like just a little voice on your shoulder. It's like, dude, 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 not now, not yet. Dude, 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 hold on. Just hold on. Easy, big fella. That's to what to look at the fear of rejection like here. It's there to make you so intelligent. It's like, oh, they might not like this. And that's the length of that fear's duration in your life. rather than, oh my God, I'm such an idiot and I look so stupid. I'm going to go home and I'm going to return to that over and over again. And I'm going to, no, it's not meant to do that. It's meant to just come and go. If you need to get back to it, don't worry. It's in a center where its frequency is called over all of time. So you don't have to worry that you're going to forget the nuances of why you might be rejected. What you're going to forget is the nuances that didn't matter. You just, again, if you write these fears down, you'll watch how the next day you can't even put the whole thought together that equaled the fear you had from the day before. Teaching you it doesn't matter as much as you think. It's the mind taking it and trying to pretend it's truth through a not self rather than your authority, which is truth through the true self. So beat these biatches back, man. Right? Beat them back. Fake it till you make it. Say it. Tell yourself this is how it's going, even if you don't believe it at first, because
I
it's
mean, that's
true.
yeah, that's the trick of it. Yeah. Well, and it's
That's
like go ahead.
that's a trick. That's part of the trick of it all.
Yeah. And just like noticing it, notice when it gets weird and kind of caught up. So Leah said that both, here we go, that neither she nor Greg have a connection to the throat, meaning that they both have a hard time explaining their insights. And so then she continued, so this does this imply we should not try to spend energy to be clear with each other? And so I commented in the thing, but basically, like if you
To
feel
clear
it
the what?
getting
What was the last? If we should spend time trying to what? Clear the air?
like just like don't like, if they should try to clarify themselves like if they're both like let me
They
explain and it's
absolutely
not
should try to clarify. Absolute. Oh, go
well,
ahead,
hey,
Moni. I
hang on.
jumped
My
in.
point
Yeah.
is if you're feeling this agitated stuck and you're like, I'm trying to say it and I'm trying to say it and neither is coming through, my first advice is separate aura, like go be like 15, 20 feet away for about 15 minutes or so to let that energy settle. Because if you can't explain and he can't explain and you're going back and forth and the energy is just getting more tense and agitated, that's not a good time to try to clarify yourselves because you're both getting stuck and I can't explain myself. So if you separate in any relationship overall, if you have some weird relationship situation with anybody, like go away for 15 minutes and let that energy settle. And especially if you can be in your own aura, then you can like, okay, what is me? What is the other person? And let that all settle in and be like, oh, okay, this was my thing. This was his thing. Oh, I think I was trying to explain this, but he was trying to explain this. Like you can let all of that settle. And then once you feel at a settled point and you're both are like, I'm ready now, then come back to it to try to clarify with one another.
And and you're so wise to put it that way. And we do need to separate auras because if we get wound up in that energy zone, it's hard to unwind it in real time until you've been in this experiment for a long time. And then you very often can unwind it in real time, but even then, not always. So the whole reason to go and literally separate even for a moment, even if it's just you're looking away, because he turned around to keep doing the dishes and you turned around to keep preparing something. That's fine too. At least try that. But the reason I was saying to no, definitely still talk it out so you can start to find out where your true expressions are. See, basically, we have to go through your throat centers and see what activations there are, and then what activations point towards the throat center for both of you. So, if what I'm hearing is correct, then you guys have an open throat as a partnership chart.
Yeah,
Is that
because
what I'm hearing, Moni?
so of my understanding, because
So,
she
together they
said
don't define a throat?
yeah, so but they have like head Ajna business. And so we have a
Okay,
question once we go through the other logical collective thing that I'm going to ask the earlier question. So I think they have head Ajna business, but then it doesn't make it to the throat. And then they got like down below body business. So they both got their own head stuff, but they can't necessarily like get it out at the same
right.
time.
That's common. That's absolutely common. Part of it is to also start to recognize that's not a problem, that's a limitation, and then start to recognize transcendence of that comes in recognizing the right timing together. The more you guys know each other's gates, the better off you're going to be as it relates to just availing yourself of that, and then going through this on-off pulse of in the same aura, no, separate it a little bit, and in the same aura, and you can do it. All I know is you can do it consciously. You can do it as an aware conversation. So you know why you're doing it rather than storming off into the other room and I'm a little pissy and now the other one doesn't know what the other one's thinking. That's the hardest. By the way, I don't know what they're thinking. I'm now afraid of rejection. My idea is going to die in the darkness. I have futility over the confusion about what might she be thinking. Oh my God, I'm returning. She's thinking this. No, she's thinking that. No, she's thinking this. I'm returning. You see what I'm saying? I just keynoted the 4 ones we've done already, and you'll go through all of them in various forms. if you let them stick around. And tomorrow, when I was like, hey, did it matter what that you couldn't figure out what she was thinking in the 15 minutes that you were away or what he was thinking? And tomorrow, when you go to write and look at that, I'm concerned about what they might be thinking. And then tomorrow, when you look at it, be like, geez, I could care. It's not, I don't
And it
care.
wasn't even a thing. They weren't
It's not
thinking
even a
that at
thing.
yeah. And, yeah, this is what I call the "I love you, go away" moment when, like, I get stuck with something with my boyfriend or if I start getting agitated, it's like, "I love you, go away." Like, I can't have you in my energy right now, especially as, like, a little agitated projector, and he knows that I'm just like, "Okay," and he'll separate, and then in that, I could be in my own energy, he could be in his own, and we can, like, come back to it from a better place of clarity, right? It's like if you feel that stuckness, it's just like, "I love you, go away," and then when you're both kind of settled and then you could have that sense of like, oh, I was trying to say this, he was trying to say this, I was kind of a jerk, but then he kind of this, and you can come back to him and be like, I'm sorry, and then you hug and cry it out, and it's all fine. But the "I love you, go away" is a good tool
It's
to
so
use.
valuable. And also I do need to back up 1 second. When you do the don't go back in slides, but when you do the 47 to 11, the keynote of that is the same with the emotional wave part of the solar plex side of of these streams of awareness that are collective, and it is clarity. It's the emotional solar plex up and down until they've achieved clarity. The abstract process up and down in the abstract wave of oppressive, okay, a little less. It's like a lot, darkness, no darkness. Can I explain? Oh, it's stimulating. Oh, yeah, I'm saying it now. Clarity. Clarity comes in the explaining of it, in the talking of it. And here, this is a design of individual knowing. And we get to the other side, it'll be a design of understanding, truly understanding and making repeatable, logical, identifiable sense. So I feel pretty good with the 2443.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will tie it together with the last little bit. So the little tip is to counter mental anxieties by trusting unique insights without forcing them into palatable explanation. And remember that rejection is just timing, it's not personal failure. It's just you're trying to say something when it's not the right time and they're not going to get it. And then you come off as the freak or you get agitated or I'm such a weirdo. So just don't take it as like a personal moral failing. It's just weird timing.
And by the way, it may be personal by the other. They think they don't like you and you annoy them. And that's your cue to say, hey, I sort of sense that that's what you're thinking, you little turd. Maybe I shouldn't have you around so much. You got to consider that because human design is about very much how to make decisions that move the bad energy more to the outskirts or away entirely. Can't move everyone away entirely, sometimes, but you can move them away, right? And so this is about moving out of the negative energies. So spot it, see that it's not the right timing ever for that person, and then start to move away.
Hmm. And then Leah highlighted another quote: rejection is just timing, not personal failure. That's a good
Yes.
one.
Yep. God,
Perfect.
thank you, Leah. Did you
I
guys
know.
send me your charts yet? Don't answer that. I'll go look later.
God. You have their emails. Ready to mosey?
Yeah, Mosey.
Perfect. So now we're on the opposite side with the collective logical of the Ajna fears, and these are anxieties over the reliability of a pattern. So
Mhm.
starting off with gate 4, this is a fear of chaos. This is a deep fear that there's no order, that all is hopeless, and they're determined to come up with an answer.
That determination is rather sustaining. This channel of logic from 63 to 4, the pressure is that of doubt on the 64 on the 63 side. So it's just doing a doubt, and it's a mental busyness and anxiety mixed with the mental ease. And the formalization of gate 4 that creates a formula has chaos until there's a formula. And that formula is absolutely a logical, conceptual, getting others to see the picture in a way that they can recreate it too. It's from this stream of awareness from 63 all the way down to 62 that we get the whole pattern of that, which is, oh, that's great. That's a hypothesis. Can two other people recreate the same thing? Okay, now that seems like a fact, right? Because a scientific method demands others can repeat and get the same result, right? That's what's needed here. This is the king of, we're going to make it so you can get the same result if you repeat this formula. And the formula itself is loaded down with details. That's its whole gig. The abstract thing has tons of details, but that's not its gig. Its gig is getting to a story of it all, which contains details. This skips the story part and gets straight to the details. And that's what it's after. It's trying to reach an opinion that is logical enough that can help affect and be shared into the collective to help it get all the lights to change in the right order in your town so people don't get in accidents. That's a logical process. And I've looked at lights in a town, and to me, it's rather complicated. I might have to go to school or get help figuring that out. Might take me a few weeks to look at a whole plan and be like, how does this really work? I might not. It's a complicated. That's a logical process. And the thing about this logical process is it's the only language when we start to get from the chaos of gate 4 into the clarity here, where it's more about just getting to the details without the story, without as much story. This is the one language, this collective shared social language is the one language that is shared throughout all of humanity, regardless of language or anything else. I mean, technically, there's one other language deeply, and it is a tribal supportive love language that is shared. So there is universal love language that absolutely can be shared anywhere on this planet. But as it relates to stuff we're going to speak about and say a lot of words and write some books about, this stuff translates through all languages at all times. The abstract idea might not, but this stuff will, because making the streetlights work here is going to be the exact same thing as some form of making them work in Italy or in Russia, right? It does. It's seriously, and making schools be reliable and making automobiles work and
Logic and patterns and like,
industry processes and think of the abstract music making, but it's still a logical process. I've got to remember all these notes. I've got to identify with it and repeat it and make it logical so I can translate this beauty of abstractness to the rest of the world. I need to share it, but I got to logically know it. So all of it is a thing, and we share this information, and it starts with the pressure to doubt. Doubt is such a valuable, maybe, doubt is good. If we just say, "Oh yeah, oh I believe that too. Oh I believe that too. Oh we're going to get taken for a ride we're going to not pass go, man." Um, right? We got no get out of jail free cards with that. And so it's just no good. We have to doubt. It's like maybe. This is part of the home of maybe, along with the individual pulse that says maybe.
oh, that
But
makes
this one,
sense.
say it again.
I said that makes sense. I'm just thinking of a friend with gate 4 I was going to talk about, but you finish your stuff.
Yeah, so it's all the maybe of it all. And the fear of chaos is a true and pronounceable, and you can just see it because as soon as too many of those possible details, which we're going to get to in gate 62 soon enough, everything in this stream is aware. I got to get to the details. I got to get to the details in gate 62. This is aware of it. And the chaos comes in. Oh my God, this doesn't fit the details. This doesn't fit the pattern fully. I I can't make a lot. Oh no. Oh no, it's not going to work. It's a logical recognition of this isn't working. Chaos in the system. We put diesel fuel in the gasoline engine. Oh no, oh
Uh-oh.
no, oh
Oops.
no. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know personally how to fix that. This is chaos. Do we have some reliable patterns? Oh, yes, there's a gas station down the road. There's a experienced mechanic there. Can we push the car there? Are we with the family on vacation? Do we have enough travelers checks? That's not how people roll today. I get it, but you get what I'm saying. God, did I date myself with that one? Um,
It works though. It works with the analogy to give the story.
right. And so the chaos, and the thing is, we see the chaos coming. We can recognize it because it's looking into the future with all kinds of possible details that are going to flesh it out. It's not like the abstract chaoticness, which is just futility. It's like, I don't even know where to start. This one is like, oh my God, I have no choice but to figure this out. I have some ideas of where to start. You got no ideas where to start on the abstract process per se. You're just stuck there in futility land. I'm treading water in the middle of the ocean. I hope someone finds me
Because of the
here
abstract, you're confused until it's after done.
until it's right, right. And this is this is right
The doubt
before,
before it's done.
and this the no the app 64 is before completion.
I know, but I'm
60
saying so this one is
after
the
completion
yeah, but it's the doubt until after. Or
until
it's
after,
yeah,
right?
it's the doubting until after.
Basically, it's a doubt until after the confusion.
Mm.
As a total holistic head-centered Ajna process of pressure to concepts. So Well, that explains it all right there. Literally, it's a holistic process, but the doubt that is called after completion, that pressurizes it pressurizes it to a point where it can suddenly have a fear of chaos. And that fear of chaos is there to be, is it really fully chaotic? Well, if you're in the middle of that thing I just described, it's probably chaotic. But guess what? You're going to make it. You've got all this beautiful process going on. You're a logical creature. It's a language we all speak. You're going to find the details and you're going to get there. You just got to stay at it, obviously. But that's the type of chaos it's looking for. It's too much. What do you mean red light, uh, green, yellow? Well, actually, what do you mean yellow? I just finished all the lights. I got red and green. Oh, dude,
We should
dude,
throw in a
dude.
yellow.
No, not throwing. It's required by law. No, it's mandatory. You got to rip the whole thing out. We need. You got only green yellows with no. Did you leave a space open can where we could put yellow in? No, it's all coming out. Yellow. Oh, now that's chaos. But it still solves itself with an identifiable pattern. That's why it's the common language to all of humanity. It's like, no, we're gonna get to work in this beautiful factory up here, which is the beautiful toy box part, is gonna figure that out. It might take a year and a half. We're gonna get there. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get our astronauts home. We're gonna whatever. That's the chaos this is meant to deal with. So put it in that perspective. Is it a missing yellow light within the whole town's lighting grid, or is it just a little chaos in your life right now? So if it doesn't rise to the occasion of, dude, you forgot the yellow. If it doesn't rise to that occasion, the chaos, let it flow through. Let it flow through. It's not there to keep you entrenched in goo and mess.
That makes sense. I have a really good friend who has this as her personality sun. Gate 4 is her personality sun. And she could have so many possibilities coming in. It's an undefined head ajna. And she can always have a possibility of this. It could be possibly this. It could be possibly this. It could possibly this. And if there's so many possibilities and it's like you don't know which is the possibility, of course that would turn into chaos. Because like maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. And I've seen
Right.
that like rile her up into a tizzy, but it makes sense because if you have too many possibilities, you don't know what is the right possibility, what is the order to it. So that makes sense that there's
Order.
chaos. It's
This
all
is
hopeless.
this is the place of order to chaos to order. And by the way, once there is order, the laws of nature and the universe point out soon there will be disorder again. It's like an emotional wave. We have no choice in all of that. And gate 4 is there to create that order and put it in place. Yeah. And by the way, I just realized so four's opposition, I believe, is 49
4 and
principles.
49.
And then this would create the cross of explanation, the right angle cross of explanation. I'm almost certain it would. And so this is all about explaining stuff.
Hmm.
This is part of the cross of explanation. And so it's about explaining stuff. And it's there in the resolution to the chaos. So if you end up can't really like explain stuff to somebody out of this, it just needs more work. It's not that you need to fear the chaoticness of that. It's a mental process. It'll work itself out in gate 17 anyways, whether you have it or not.
And confirm it as the cross of explanation.
Are you gonna?
No, I just did. I am confirming
Oh,
currently.
oh, okay.
This is my
How'd you do that so
confirmation.
quick? Was that in the book? You looked it
Yeah.
up?
I just
Okay,
pulled
cool.
out the book of destinies because it has it
Uh,
in the numbers and it's really easy.
gotcha.
So I have like a whole little book pile that pulls up around here during our shows. So moving on to gate 17. Gate 17 is a fear that your opinions will be challenged and afraid that you'll be lacking the details and that you're not understood and that you must wait. You must wait for all details before you can verify this opinion. And an opinion without details will be and needs to be challenged.
It needs to be. It's a logical process. We've talked a lot about science recently, like all throughout news and just general in our world, I'd say in the past 4 or 5 years, follow the science and trust the science and stuff. No, yes, but also no. Kick those tires again. Keep proving it, please. You know what I'm saying? Prove it still. It's 10 years later. Has anything changed as it relates to the science? These are reasonable things until it gets entrenched into the not self. No, that's the science. The science is now settled. on something, and it
Or it's like the
never
science is
really.
never settled. Like the method of science is that you're constantly asking the question of you're doubting. Doubt is the foundation of the scientific method. So the 63 is the doubt that goes to the 4, which is the possibility. Maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. And then the 17 is like, I'm going to come up with a hypothesis. And then it goes to gate 62 that's like, I'm going to test the hypothesis with all the details.
With all the details, and that testing comes out first, and the very first test you make of a hypothesis is to pick the words to put to it and explain it to someone else. That's the very first step of that, after you come up with it in your own self, is to choose the language. And 62 is there to metamorphosize this mentally noisy slash visual process, the process of the right eye, really focusing in on the details of this particular thing, and get to that, you know, the taming of all of those details, and the preponderance of the small is what Gate 62 is called, and it puts those details in an ordered framework at some point. But the bottom line, this gate sphere is because all that stuff is tenable. It's tenuous, I mean. It doesn't know. Yeah, I got a thing, but I haven't said it yet. And opinions are dicey. Well, that's your opinion. I don't want
Everyone,
to run into that. That's your
uh,
opinion. Telling a story is the worst you can really get is, I mean, that's not really my story. That story maybe might not fully apply. You got to use a lot of words to say something down about the story.
yeah, you're like, oh,
When it
that's
comes to
that's
this gate of
interesting. Good luck
opinion,
on that.
yeah, right. But when it comes to the opinion, you can just say, that's not my opinion. Opinions sound forceful. They sound like you're trying to get me to sway me to your opinion. Well, I'm Catholic. Well, I'm Protestant. Oh, yeah. Sure, 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 sure. You know what I mean? That's not going to travel far. Tell a story about it and it will.
Hmm.
And and so gate 17 knows there's a slight starving for the energy to travel, because the abstract side, when it does finally get out 56, has far more potential to travel far and wide and totally universalize. The sharing wants to get to the fifth line universalizing at the end of the day. It all wants to get there. I want to universalize this. Where? To everyone at all times. That's what it would like. And think about it. If you have a pressure that is a genetic construct in your body that humanity has in its Maya that guarantees we have doubt as part of our process, how can anyone ever get behind any kind of slogan that says the science is settled when we ourselves are not settled in it because we
And
have
it
doubt?
can't be.
It can't be, right?
It's
It's not logical,
anyone who says the science is settled is saying something very anti-scientific. Like the whole
period.
purpose of science is you keep testing and you keep testing and you keep testing and you
It's
keep testing it. Like it's the
It's
whole
nice
point.
that it reaches a relative resting point where the chaos is low. The chaos is there as a fear to measure in gate 4, to measure how much chaos. There's always a little bit. There's always a little entropy inside the system. And 17 is there to say, hey, good resting point, good enough. The lights work. You put the yellow back in. Here's how this is going to work. Let's sell it to the town. It's there to finesse the rest of it into a reliable opinion that creates a reliable pattern that can be spoken reliably with enough detail to make its impact and be heard. So that's what gate 17 is doing. Its fear of challenge is deep. It's deep because one simple challenge can disorganize the whole thing, and suddenly it can't speak anymore. It's a projected channel, and it's about your opinion. And if there's one thing anyone can do, is they can say, that's not my opinion. And it's like telling someone they're, whatever, this or that. It shuts down conversation. It shuts down things. So it's such a logical fear. The fear of challenge is the alma mater and the motto of the true and correct scientist. How can I make sure I've gotten through and gotten to all the pertinent details such that my fear of challenge is simply like, let them challenge. I'm pretty strong on this. I've got the formula. The doubt factory isn't killing me today because it's just, I think I've gotten rid of most of the doubts. So when you get rid of most of the doubts and you get rid of most of the formula particulars to turn it into a formula, 17 comes along and says, let me organize this into a thesis. It's a wicked logical process. So this one is, let the fear of challenge. By the way, if you're afraid of challenge, just like it said before, then basically you haven't done enough with it and it deserves challenge. So what are we supposed to do with this fear? Write it down. Find a way to find out how much it didn't matter an hour later. Please, because this fear of challenge inside of you and this fear that someone's going to say something, the fear that there's, oh yeah, coming at you, and the fear that you might sound stupid or it's in an open center and you know you're not necessarily certain. So is the timing right? You let your strategy and authority tell you the right timing. And if the other isn't listening, you can stop now. They don't deserve it at that time. They're not listening. And that's okay. And so you can't share it. Hungry to share. This one's easy. This one's, I'm thinking this one gets bitter and hungry when it can't share. And the 11 might have some of that, but even as a projected channel, it's still more just going to railroad and tell its story a little bit and maybe shorten it up if no one's listening. But it's still going to get some of it out. But this one can get stopped at the gate because your opinion about something isn't very sexy. But the nice story you're telling is that's stimulating me right now is same stuff.
Perfect. So you ready to tie it together?
Yep.
So I'll do that, and then we have a question.
Good.
Cool. Oh, I gotta hit the right button. Doo-doo-doo. There we go. So the lesson for collective logical ajna fears is to combat these anxieties, gather the full details before forming those opinions, and which because rushing invites chaos and challenge, whereas patient verification creates reliable answers for the collective. So again, this is the scientific method. So have those doubts, gather the details, present a hypothesis. You don't have to like get yourself personally so tied to this opinion that you need to prove. It's a hypothesis. You're here to test it. Don't get that attached. And rushing causes trouble. So just take it slow. Be a good scientist.
Yeah, and so very much recognize that this process that's supposed to unfold at the end of the day, it does need to be recognized by the other, or you can't share it. So you can use this process really quick to realize if you're in the right place sharing it. It would almost be like one of those speed dating circles where you go around, you talk to someone for 5 minutes, then you move to the next one, find out where it'd be like that. Oh, you're not listening? Go to the next crowd of people. Oh, you're not listening? Go to my next friend. Oh, you're not listening. As soon as they don't want to hear it, get off the call and call your next friend or whoever. Call
Mm-hmm.
your mom. She'll usually listen, ish, you
Ish.
know, ish.
Perfect.
Just someone will. And so that's what this is. The only thing I want to say that to finish all this beauty is where is this arrow pointing from the 4 to the 7. Notice now the mixing is the other way. I would like you to notice that this individual definition, the 24 down to 43, this flow, um, cuts right through the center of this vortex. It cuts right through the center. It's as if the abstract, which I'm always saying, it's if the abstract and the logical processes are here serving this individual, making a rationale out of it to come to the final breakthrough. The final breakthrough is what's going to mutate and create the new thing we need to make a reliable pattern about, and the new thing we need to tell stories about to find out what does it really mean and get clear on. So the vortex in the ajna is a potent place. Why it's so confusing. And screw the challenge. You don't care.
Fair.
You
You ready
don't
for
you
a
don't
question?
care. Yeah. Let the challenge flow through just like every other fear.
Perfect. Ready for a question?
Hmm.
So, Leah and Greg. So, Leah asks, hi guys, I have the 6447. So, Leah has the 6447. Greg has the 63-4. And she's curious, how do these complement each other and like how can they play with that?
Um, learn to that the other person has a way that is quite different from yours. Yeah, I mean, accept that. Accept that. So, um, Leah, if you have the 6447, Greg needs to like not pressure you to like get clear on it. And Leah Greg has the 63-4, so he's supposed to burst little bubbles here and there with doubt. Might not be that way, might not be this way, and you're not supposed to take that personally. Might not be this way, might be this way. Oh, something. And so if Greg wants to get stubborn over that, let him. That's perfect for him. It's like, no, I'm sticking this way because my doubt is assuaging itself in this manner. And this formula seems to be arising. And Greg, if Leah's like lost in the maze where she's supposed to be, I have this channel. I love it there, by the way. I come up with all kinds of great stuff. Let her be there because there's poetry awaiting on the other side. On one side, the poetry of mechanics and the textbook that is a Chilton's manual. On the other side, just the poetry of it all that brings these fanciful concepts that we need to advance ourselves forward.
So, Greg, give Leah time to be confused until the story comes through, and Leah,
Don't
let
take
Greg,
doubt personally.
yeah, let him be Mr. Logical. Don't take the doubt personally. And I don't know, I just enjoy how differently you see the world. It almost feels like a very like men are from Mars, women are from Venus kind of thing of just like enjoying that you're kind of from different planets in a sense.
Hmm.
And you get a lot of bases covered though, which is kind of cool. You got like a lot of mental business of like she handles this and he could handle that, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, indeed.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's this whole thing all brought together. That's it.
So finally, I have our fear quote from Ra Uru Hu, the founder developer of the human design system. So no human being is free from fears. Fear is a part of our human process. To understand fear through human design, to understand the gates of fear in your chart will give you incredible insight into your life. It will give you a deep relief that there's nothing wrong with you. Fear is to be recognized and understood. By entering into things correctly through living out the strategy of your type, fears can cease to be something that are perceived as problematic or debilitating. They can be seen for what they are, mechanics of the human way and a byproduct of awareness and its potentials.
Right. The byproduct of our constant pressure to get more intelligent, that's what this is. And Ra always said things with such sort of, insightful poetry and textbook fashion too. He was a teacher. And so this really sums it all up, in my opinion. These fears of the ajna bring great anxiety to the people until they start seeing it. And once you see it, that anxiety, you get to start killing it. Kill the anxiety by witnessing your mechanics and understanding if that's part of your mechanics and you have one of these gates, then you have to let this flow through and you got to get into the experiment just as I have been detailing to you. So
Good
good.
stuff. Yep.
Yeah. I think we
Uh,
killed it, Moni.
I think we did pretty great. Yeah. So we've gone through the spleen and the ajna. Next week, we will do the solar plexus.
And remember everyone to uh like and subscribe, right? Tell other people, share it around, post it on TikTok or something. Say, hey, we found these two crazy people. What are they saying? Does anyone know? Do that. Yeah, yeah. Does anyone know what this is? And watch 100 people be like, oh yeah, that's this and this and this. And
It's some
so,
neat stuff.
yep. Actually, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Does anyone know anything about this? That's my
Yeah. Get
44 getting tricky.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, so thanks for liking, subscribing, doing all the stuff, asking questions. Here we have our coffee link if you want to donate, and there's a QR code if you want to do that. We really appreciate it. I'm going to let Danny hang out and talk for a minute, and then I'll be
I
back.
want to,
And
yeah, are you done?
I
Sorry.
was just going to give the heads up of what we're doing. So I'm going to let Danny talk for a minute. I'm going to run away. I'm going to be back. When we get back, then we will dive into the left angle crosses. We're going to start off with the left angle cross of masks. So that'll be super fun. But talk to Danny.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about the value of getting yourself read and having, I've already mentioned this before, but really taking a close look inside of what is it you're looking for when you come to human design and you come in any kind of way with all the confusion that comes in the beginning. What is this system? What does it do? Let that self subside for a little while. Just let it sit to the side. Let yourself come in for this reading and this analysis and recognize we're going to go through all of your gates. We're going to get you to the point where you actually understand what is it that I am? What are these things like Greg and Leah when they each were telling us the channels they have? Those are life forces. Come know your life forces so you can start to recognize those are the things that I am. And then you'll start to realize I'm all the other things I am not. So when you realize that you don't have a certain gate or that something isn't complete or you have an open center, you can start to recognize my openness is not a problem. What is a problem is me not knowing. So when I get someone into a reading, they get to the point where I let them understand what their little inner child is always telling them because it's there in the body graph and how the fact and the act of seeing and witnessing it take place, if you'll just give it a few months or even just a couple of weeks, you'll start to see that seeing it rearranges all the stuff that we thought was plaguing us. And so it counts for everything. And then if you're a parent, get your kids' designs in here and get yours in here and your husband's or whatever, your wife's or the other parent. And really we need to look at all of it together so you can start to recognize what's going to be best. I want to raise super children. I want to raise children that don't get caught up in all this uncertainty, not knowing which way to turn, all these incredible fears that they latch onto as real. Guys, we invented the fears of the mind. They are an illusion. Literally, they start out as an illusion, and most of the time they end up as an illusion. Sometimes they matter. You'll get to see when that is, but it's so largely they don't. And when we come in for a good, hard, strong reading, you start to see, oh my God, I don't even have to, that's not my pressure. I don't have to try and prove it. I've got nothing to prove. Oh my God, I'm amazingly powerful. Look at all the stuff that I do. Oh my God, I am driven, or I am deep, or I am warm, or I am supportive. And you'll start to realize these are the things that matter. So, be it family or couples, if you're having issues in a relationship or not, even if you either way. And then individual, bring yourself in for a reading, and I will spend a good couple hours with you, and we'll have follow up after that.
Perfect. I'm finishing a
Mooney, can
comment.
you get us started off? And now it's my turn.
Let you go run away.
Yeah, for just a sec.
Go run away. Danny's always so poetic. It's just like, wow, that's what a defined throat is like. It can just sound so pretty and so perfect and wonderful. If you want to get a hold of me on the flip side, you can find me at awakenyourhd@gmail.com. I also, here's my little QR code. I was really excited to figure out how to make these things and learn some new techie things to develop the show and develop the business. We're going to have, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, we're super, super close to having an online booking appointment thing set up. It's been a trip trying to get it, but we're almost there. So until then, just email us, or if you just want to like talk and hang out, that's a fun thing too. As Danny was saying in the beginning of the show, if someone's like super into wanting to help or learn about their design and help out and kind of like, I don't know, you want to call it an internship or just hanging out with friends and sharing talents, that's also something you could hit me up at awakenyourhd@gmail.com. Oh, have fun walking the dog, Greg. I want to know what kind of dog. I want to see pictures. I love puppies. And thank you for the compliments. Thank you very, very much. It's been fun learning as somebody who never knew how to do anything podcasty or video-y or YouTube-y or any of this, and learning how to do presentations and do business things. So it's super fun. I'm excited for that to continue to develop. It's been good. Next up, once Danny gets back, we're going to continue our Incarnation Cross series as we're going through like all 192 Incarnation Crosses because we're slightly crazy, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to be diving into some left angle crosses. We have the masks and revolution if we have the energy for both. We're at least going to do masks, but I hope we do both because I think it's going to be really fun. Oh, an Aussie Shepherd. That sounds like a really cute and super fuzzy dog. Like that sounds like a dog that sheds a lot. But is also really soft to cuddle. So I love when I get to see dogs or when I'm walking in the forest and you get to like look at the people and like, you seem friendly. Is your dog friendly? And the ones that let me pet them are my happiest. But yeah, so it's been fun developing the show and learning how to do these things. And here we have Danny with a cup of coffee.
Yep.
Hey,
And kitty
Danny.
cat fed. Kitty cat was meowing at me.
Okay, well, you got to
Yep.
take
I
care of
think
your kitty cat.
I'll feed Willie.
Perfect. All right. So continuing on, we have our left angle cross of masks. So we're going to dive into this incarnation cross, and this is the first of our left angles. We haven't messed with those yet.
Yeah, well, masks is an interesting one because masks is this thing that we put on, and people will start to realize that as we start to see it. It's this thing that we carry with ourselves almost like a title, and we sort of sit behind it a little bit, and it helps us to universalize and transpersonalize whatever it is we're into. So look at it like a title.
Perfect. So The left angle cross of masks there's two of them, so all left angle crosses have two varieties. The right angles have four varieties, the juxtapositions have one variety of each, and the masks or the left angles have two varieties of each. So the first one is part of the first quarter, the quarter of initiation. Quarter of initiation, it's very mental, it's mental inspiration. The gates are 13, 7, 43, and 23. And these people are born around February 5th or 6th, depending on the year, but around that time. These are people whose explanations and insights, which potentially transform, lead, and guide others, work best when given from behind a mask, like a PhD. Ra continues, the left angle cross of masks operating through gate 13. All left angle crosses have a transpersonal karma. It has to do with other people, and they are physically structured and they have a programmed obligation to integrate with the other to get that information across to them by hiding behind a facade, that mask, right? There is no morality associated within hiding behind a facade. They have no choice. It's just part of their life. Their life is about masks, and they need those masks. These beings are always under pressure from all those connected to them karmically to deliver the goods. With gates 13 and 17, the goods are, what is the direction? Where are we going? And these are people who are going to be saying, look, we expect you to give us a direction. The left angle has to recognize what the other wants from them or gets from them. These masks, you need to have your initials after your name or a costume. You have to have your costume, the mask that you put on. These people get inside of those costumes and then they get to play out that role. And then individuality carries melancholy. The program begins with melancholy. Otherwise, you wouldn't enjoy the muse, right? You need to know the sad to enjoy the happy. And it's just part of the orchestration that it starts with melancholy because melancholy is the muse. The mind begins with sadness. The mind begins with melancholy and anxiety that the sadness will never be resolved. It is out of that comes the glory of what we have accomplished on the mental plane. If you have individuality defined in your design, don't make up a reason why you're melancholic, as all you're doing is killing the muse. You're killing the muse and replacing it with depression. The quarter of initiation starts with melancholy. It starts with sadness and with art. It starts with music. It starts with love because individuality is at the core of what love is. It is the search for perfect love, for the ultimate love, cosmic love, self-love, and union with the other through love and romance. The starting place is the right angle with the 13 saying, was there love back there? Did I get any? Will I get any? The juxtaposition is just listening for it. It's out there somewhere, listening to love songs alone at night. The left angle says, I'll put on my mask and tell you exactly what you need to know, because if I don't tell you exactly what you need to know, I can't survive in this life. So I'm going to tell you all about it, but I'm going to tell you all about it based on my sadness.
We're about to move into the cross of explanation after this left angle goes by. The masks are there in large part to protect the knower, to the freak, to protect them. You know, it might be a little bit freaky, but he's a professor. Let's hear it out. It's like a guaranteed in, not a guaranteed, but it's a helpful in for the explanation to not be a freak at first. That time of freak is coming. The right angle of the next cross is coming, and it is the cross of explanation. And as a right angle process, they will be. This teaches us before you even get there how to literally sit behind something to help your explanations gain flight, because otherwise they can just be noise in the outer world. This mask is deeply, deeply connected to the Sphinx because the Sphinx gave us direction. Was there love back there? Is the primary question. It's the perfect question. That sounds like quotes from Ra, by the way. Um, not only was there love back there, is there communion? Is there beauty? Is there spirit? Is there enoughness? All the beautiful things that you described about individuality in the first place, are we empowering all of that? And from 13's position, it says, as a memory, because I remember that we did. Let me explain it to you. I remember, let me explain it to you as a professor, as an accountant, as a lawyer, as whatever the thing is, as a scientist who knows the science isn't necessarily settled, as, yeah, I had to throw that in, as any of these things. And by the way, you don't need to go to college to get one of these things. How about as something that is the plumber? right? How about us? We're the design readers. We have a mask, you
Yeah, it's
know,
like
so
the hat you wear.
yeah, totally. Except it's a little more than just a hat because you can
Yeah.
see the hat as like a duty, a thing that you're doing,
Mm,
and the mask is something that you get to like wear on your lapel, and you're doing it at the same time.
mm-hmm,
It's like
mm-hmm,
it gets you into the cool room for that 15 minutes before a show, whereas the general population isn't, that type of
uh-huh.
thing. Um, and so it can be anything. And I'm the car mechanic, Who are you? Well, dude, I'm the guy that you're asking the question of.
It's the bouncer, it's the bartender.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally. Everyone's got a mask, and this
yeah.
tells us that. And from that mask, think about it this way. In the right angle of the Sphinx, we found the direction or we're finding it, right? And we're remembering it and we're sharing that, we're empowering it, and it's a direction fore and aft, forwards and backwards. By the time we get to mask, we've refined this process. It's a giant refining process. By the way, in the Sphinx, when you get to the other side, it is the cross of refinement when you get the other two arms. So it has everything to do with it. But these masks are the alter ego version of us. So we got us. It's just like in law. I have myself, and then I have the ens legis me. That was my company I made. I gave it a name. That's not me. That's my company. That's my mask. We all give ourselves one. And the act of remembering from the past and I love me also says, don't forget your mask. You get to have one of those. It helps communion. It helps the advancing of the explanation towards more consciousness and more awareness of something. And by the way, better systems, hopefully, more logic that we can identify, hopefully, and a lot more stories we get to tell now, hopefully. So
Perfect.
that's
Ready for the
that's
second
math.
perfect ready for the second variety?
Sure.
Perfect. Sorry for interrupting.
No, no, we do that at the end.
Yeah. So now we're going to go into the second variety. So uh, that is not in quarter two. Would it be in quarter three?
Quarter three. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to check this to make sure it's.
You're gonna change that now?
No, I'm not going to change that now. I'll change that in the. I mean, I guess I can change it now. Just it doesn't look all super pretty. So it's
Yep.
quarter three, which is duality.
Yep.
Duality. Do do do. And that is about
Bonding.
relationships.
Relationships. Yep.
Cool. Sorry about that. Third line, it always pops up. So now we're like pretending it never happened. So the second variety of the left angle cross of masks, which the left angle cross of masks involves the identity, the ajna, and the throat. So the quarter three, so the second variety of the left angle cross of masks is part of quarter three, which is the quarter of duality, which is about relationships. So the numbers are 7, 13, 23, and 43. And these people are around more or less August 9th through the 11th. And these are people who are projected upon to provide practical or wise leadership, to be influential change agents. They do their best from behind a mask or a title, such as a general or a therapist. And Ra continues, the second variety of the left angle cross of masks, which operates through gate 7, the initial personality is Sun Gate 7. And it's line 5 would be the first one that pops up. So this is the line of the general. Everyone projects on the general that he is going to be able to solve the dilemma always. While with everyone projecting on the general an image or a mask, this left angle cross of masks is one of the great projection crosses. The general is very important to us because he operates on a principle that we can live with. He takes absolute authority and power in times of crisis and provides a practical solution. Then, when the crisis is over, he gives up his power voluntarily. Everyone who meets people carrying this cross are projecting on them that they are the ones who can bring the solution. So many of these masks end up being shattered. The fifth line lives and dies by its reputation. If your projection on a fifth line that she can deliver, if she doesn't deliver, her reputation gets destroyed. If she delivers, her reputation rises. The fifth line is about practicality. It's all about the projection of others that create it. Of course, people carrying this cross can crumble and fall very easily if they're not prepared. You have to recognize preparation is something that is very important in your life. Being called upon, projected upon. If you can't deliver the goods, you're going to suffer the consequences. So it's very important to be prepared.
That's a lot. And it's
Yeah.
pointing towards, well, and the thing is, it's pointing towards this one thing. Notice how none of the gates change. We just flip-flopped the suns for the earths and vice versa.
Hmm.
Um, Please notice on this, these things they go together. I mean, these are one and the same cross, the same name, same gates. It's just in the first iteration, we were just getting things started. It's called the quarter of initiation, the quarter of mind. And the first thing to wake up is mind. Oh my God, I think. And now therefore I am. And that's us waking up. I mean, that's literally us waking up. Again, that's why so much of that's why the not self exists in the ajna, because that's where the deep gray area remembers everything. So when you get into that first iteration, again, the act of your mask as something you remember, it's a little less at stake. So even the projection that would be on the 13.5 as the saint and the savior, and you'll listen to me, that is a projection. You will listen to me. But when you get over to the other side, we're not just, I think, therefore I am. We've woken up. Oh my God, Captain, I've woken up, after 200 years of slumber. No. On the other side, we already woke up. We're merging and creating a dualistic nature with others now, and that requires leadership. We just built civilization, the quarter that we went past. And that's a lot. And that's a lot of yang force in there. And those are a lot of throat gates. Now it's time to get not so much into the talking business and manifesting business, but into the leadership business and becoming influential business, which turns into manifestation anyways. Seven can become an influential leader suddenly. And that leadership is so important to make sure we do with civilization what the whole idea of waking up mind in the first place was for, to make it so that there's no more chaos. You know what I'm saying? We got to get done with the chaos part of the formula's not working. We worked out so much of that. And now we're getting into the business of explaining it. And the explanations are going to turn into something that helps us bond and get together and enjoy the act of like being community now and the supportiveness of what happens when duality comes into play. So this leadership and that general, this whole great projection onto this one, this ups the ante. 13 simply said, I do this from a sake of remembering. So we can all talk about that. Maybe someone can correct someone. Hey, you might remember a little different. I remember a little this way. Okay. Those aren't fighting words necessarily. But what are we going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do moving forward right now? Oh God, that's important. Shoot, what are we going to do? Well, those opinions might differ. We might have different explanations on that. The need for the strength of proper leadership in this point in time will receive that more dire projection because there appears to be more at stake. It's one thing to go over the fanciful past. That's not going to harm me if I talk about that across the fire tonight. But tomorrow when we wake up and we got to make it all work, we need leadership. It's just like 21 in the hunter and the huntress. That's what's going on here, except it's without the tribal control in that way. But so this particular mask is I'm the mask of partially of authority. So the first mask could have just been a plumber. This could be a plumber, but it's the plumber as the authority. And before it was the plumber as the storyteller and the witness. Okay, witness. Thank you, witness, for telling us. Thank you for your testimony. And that's good. We need it, by the way. We need it. Jesus witnessed, we need that. But here's like authority because tomorrow we're going to have to do things in a synchronized order that makes sense and is logical and understandable, and we can all know what is it we're doing and know our part in it all. That's looking into the future. That becomes more present in the now as to it being needed, and it's linked up with two gates that are going to come in really good in a moment, the 4 and the 49 as you coming to it. And this mask helps the explanation not be a freak through the assertion of your authority. And you don't need to have the ultimate authority. It's just there is an authority on this movement forward. Because if there is none, you mean no one knows anything about this? Okay, now that's no good. Someone would know, I got this. I've done this. I know what this is. Okay, you're the authority. And now you have a mask. That mask is you're the guy that knows this and has done this. And now you can help the rest of us, as opposed to you're just Joe who can help the rest of us. You see what I mean? We project something onto it. Well, you
I,
got to
I'm
share.
I'm laughing because I was going to wait till you're finished and you wrapped it all up, and I was going to say that Joe Rogan is this variety of the cross of masks. So when you said you're not just Joe, and I was like, but he is, but he's not just Joe. He's the Joe
But he's
Rogan
not just
experience.
Joe,
He's
right?
the Joe Rogan experience. So that was funny.
That's so funny. This is this cross of masks at either iteration is the thing that allows us to have a separate corporate name that we know is us, but it's not us.
Hmm.
And it becomes normal. That's Dan. Dan from Mortgage Giver from this company. Oh yeah, cool, cool. But we know it's still Dan,
Yeah.
so
But it's Dan who's talking about human design on our show.
right, right, right. So we all have bits of this capacity, and if you're on this cross, you're not hiding either iteration. It's not that you're hiding, and it's not that you have to feel insecure when you're out from behind your mask. You get to be both. The mask is there when the timing is right because the explanation must be delivered in a way that doesn't get you landed as a freak. So, I mean, that's what this mask is doing, part of it.
Hmm. Perfect. Ready for the next slide?
Yeah.
So, tying up the left angle cross of masks with this identity, ajna, and throat light up. Um, the role is wearing masks to share the role is to the role is wearing masks to share universal truths. There we go. Individuals adapt their communication to guide others, often hiding personal truths to serve a collective purpose. The purpose is to listen deeply, gate 13, and articulate insights, gate 43, that influence others' paths, using roles or personas to deliver wisdom effectively. The focus on balancing leadership, gate 7, with clear expression, gate 23, to guide without forcing.
That guiding without forcing is so important. The force can only take place after you're already in the leadership role. Then we can be forceful as needed, whatever's logically sensible. But but short of that, you do need to have this sort of consensus, or you're not going to be invited in. Projector channels, don't forget. So far, actually, all of these channels that would be here if the gates are on the other side are all projected. So this is a projected cross. Um, this wearing of masks and sharing these universal truths, the I remember part of the truth is one side where our mind is waking up and we're waking up as a consciousness to say we are a conscious species. It's time to build a civilization. And then the other iteration with 7 is we need leadership from behind a mask that I can step out from behind. Again, step out from behind your mask once in a while. If you wear it all the time, you'll get your own sort of sense of insecurity and fear of rejection. I'm afraid I'll be rejected as myself rather than my mask. So step out sometimes. But on this side, we left the mind business and we got into now we have to do something as it relates to leadership into it's not just mind waking up, we need to build a civilization. It's spirit waking up. Spirit is woken up and we need to now come together with all of that. So whatever processes are in place, it's going to be logical. I don't want the city breaking down while we're trying to make the village work. Don't forget the yellow and the lights while you're at it. That's 7. I
Nice
mean, that's
timing.
the leadership of 7 saying that to gate 4, which is coming up. So,
Perfect. Do you feel good here? Do you have energy for one more cross?
how about
We're almost
yourself?
at 2 hours, so
Let's. Do you want to try and do another?
yeah, I'm in for it if you're in for it.
Go for it.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny. So continuing on to the left angle cross of revolution. I'm excited about this. I'm excited to dive in.
Good. So, revolution is the one that basically this left angle cross, this whole capacity to revolt in the first place for gate 49, because again, we're moving around in this way. It's going to take a while, by the way. There's 192 of these things all told. And so revolution says, I remember my mind wakes up, and guess what? Whatever's out there, chances are we need some kind of revolution. Think about what's coming up really soon. We're about to move into the Cross of Eden, I think, is 1 or 2 away from here. We're really close to it. And this whole thing about the revolution of getting kicked out and needing to do something, the revolution of the principles needing to be right. This is once we remembered, then the next step in line is get your principles in order, get your values good, get your mind right, quarter of mind and initiation, really, because everything from here is difficult human business. You'll see as Danny and Moni go around the wheel. There's a lot happening after that. These first two hexagrams, 13 and 49, guarantee that it's not just mental business. We set up principles according to our values, according to morals, according to our nine-centered demand for beauty and communion and spirit. Now, there's laws that are going to help evaluate and make that happen. And those laws are going to be informed by the values and morals and principles that come here. And I promise you, in many cases, this will be revolutionary in whatever form it's in whatever town it's in whatever area or place. So it brings revolution, it brings the new.
hmm And I
Yep.
think we're going to stumble into, as you said, get your principles in order because there's good revolutions and there's bad revolutions.
Mm.
Like American Revolution, good times.
Good
Soviet
times.
Revolution, not so good
Right,
times.
right, right.
So I think there's going to be like a lot of true self, not self kind of situations here of like if your values are in order, your principles are in order, because if your values and principles are not in order, people can lead revolutions where it turns into really bad times.
Really
So
bad times. And remember
yeah,
what's informing this cross of revolution. Gate 4 is part of it. The cross of revolution is logical business. It's not just emotional business. It's the two words you don't hear very often. Hey, can you make that logical emotional business for us? Yes, yes, it's through this cross of revolution. What are you
it's
thinking?
interesting. Well, because you said the four is logical, it's logical business as part of logical circuitry. And then I was thinking, because we just went through the Ajna fears and the fear of gate four of there's too many possibilities, there's too much chaos, and I'm going to put down order. And how, again, you can have some bad revolutions where someone thinks they're going to make order from chaos and like it can go bad, right? So there could be good and bad in that. Like there's good logic, there's bad logic. So.
How about a revolution of a mundane sort? In the house,
mm,
there's a revolution. We're switching from butter to margarine, or we're switching
Oh,
out of margarine finally because that was a bad idea into butter. Right. Yeah.
that's a better revolution. Or
Those are
the
good
new
principles. You're
the
right.
further
Dude,
the further
in my day and
revolution where you
age, I lived when we went into the margarine world and got back out again. Yeah.
and my generation has now moved to the revolution of ghee and clarified butter.
Yeah. Yep. Ghee. That's right. Yeah. I've just been trying that recently. But those are principles. Think of the values that are embedded in these principles and these things that deeply come from within us that must survive doubt and scrutiny. It has to survive doubt and scrutiny. And that's what it does. Gate 4 survives the doubt by the folly of its youthful capacity to basically come up with a new formula. Oh, that didn't work. This might. Those values aren't going to work if you don't have some of this.
Mm,
We need that. We need that. Whether it's formed in an opinion or it's got all the details, doesn't matter. The values are there for that. And the principles of a revolution are so critical. They're just so critical because, like you said, there's bad ones and there's
mm,
medium ones and there's good ones and there's ones that don't matter. By the way, we are revolutionary as humanity in the first place, just so you know. As far as the universe is concerned, we are revolutionary to an entire universe, even though there may be copies of us somewhere out there. Doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. We are a revolution all onto ourselves. It's funny. We wake up in 13 with I remember, and it's time for my mind to wake up. And we wake up to what? Oh, we are the revolution. We better let everyone know, right?
perfect. So thanks to everyone who is watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, hanging out, asking questions. We love having you, and let's get into it. So starting off with the left angle cross of revolution, the first variety. So the left angle cross of revolution, it incorporates the solar plexus, the ajna, the sacral, and the throat. So it's all over the place. So
Mm.
quarter one version, the quarter one variety is part of quarter of initiation. So the quarter of initiation is about mental inspiration. And the gates are 49, 4, 14, and 8. And these people are born about February 10th through the 12th, depending on the year. This is the revolutionary who understands that there can be no peace with an empty stomach. Those who have must share with those who have not. Ra continues with this first variety that is operating through gate 49. This is pure revolution. The only thing that is uncomfortable about this revolution is that it is about money, meaning they don't deserve to have that. Let's end them and take it from them. This is the basis of revolution after all. From the view, they are greedy, they are not going to share with us, they hate us and are enslaving us. We cannot reason with them, it doesn't work. The only practical thing we can do is to end them and share everything. It's the violence in the wiring. Like, for example, the immune system T cells within our own bodies. Otherwise, we wouldn't be at the top of the food chain. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in charge. Nothing to be done, cannot civilize that. Listen to a 49 and you'll hear a powerful potential revolutionary with the gate 5 or the line 5 specifically, the 49.5. I'm here to seduce you into revolution. I'm here to seduce you to these principles. That is a very powerful force. The fifth lines draw projection. The expectation is laid at the revolutionary's feet to deliver. If they blow it, the fifth line crumbles. It's the fifth line revolution that says it's very, very practical and this is what we're going to do. Sometimes we turn them into heroes, sometimes we turn them into villains. See, after all, if they deliver. They are not always heroes as long as they fulfill the projection of those that are following that principle. They are always going to be heroes. Not just about establishing a new principle and a revolution, but it's about benefiting from it. There's no sense in having a revolution if you aren't going to benefit from it. The 49th gate demands we must have what we need to eat. As a community, we must have this. Without enough to eat, the tribe will go to war to get it. The veneer and the patina of civilization on humanity is so thin and so recent. One of the strongest themes at the beginning of this story is that to be in this global program, we must band together to survive. It was not easy for humans in the beginning to compete in the world. We really had to develop communal skills and communal skills that were rooted in violence and protection. You can't just get rid of that. The 49 line 6 is an enormous jump. The 49 line 6 comes off the roof. It has to come with the principles in which it can provide for itself. Principles that allow it to provide for itself are principles that it can open up for others. However, the moment it steps down off the roof, what does it meet there? Desire. This is the way the program works. You look back and you get nervous. You look forward and you sharpen your sword, then the desire comes.
Yeah, and the looking back part isn't supposed to end up making us nervous as we evolve and fall more into our nine-centered way. The looking back is supposed to end up as a remembrance, not something that just makes us nervous, but Ra was quoting an expression there. And the looking forward, sharpening our swords, it is true. We can't pretend that the violence inside of humanity is gone any more than we could the sexuality is gone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're just baked into the process, and I hate that they're baked into the process because I'm a vessel of love. It's like I want to do without it finally. However, these principles are very powerful. Don't forget, Gate 49 itself decides that you are let in or not. You know, as it relates to you can come with a whole wagon full of resources, but Gate 49 still stands there at the barrier, whether you'll even be let in to stand a better chance of survival into the tribe or not. And the principles that do come out of Gate 49, they still have to be shared. They because they're juxtaposed across the way as part of an opposition with Gate 4. And Gate 4 is going to mandate a logical presentation that then turns around and gets shared. You have to be able to share the principles. They have to be good for everyone else. They are moving into desire. The principles, once laid down, allows desires to flourish. The language of sharpening our swords to move forward is seven-centered language. It's correct as it relates to the homogenized humanity is still there in large part, but we're moving, we're shifting. It's time to start hearing the language that's supposed to crack through that glass ceiling and ascend and rise above it all. And that language is we want to get rid of this violence. But we know darn well in the short run, even if we do truly want to get rid of the violence, we still have to be violent AF, ready and capable to make sure that it doesn't fall itself upon us. So banding together with a tribe is the highest part of the principle. And you mark my words, if you change your tribes up a little bit, that's a revolution to wherever it was you just left. And you mark my words that if you go ahead and come up with a revolutionary thing that suddenly other people get behind, it will catch fire. This is a left angle cross. It's designed to let it leap across the circuitry into the others and let other people show up with it. So this left angle cross of revolution seems like serious business, and it pretty much is. It's taking initiation and it's giving it its emotional awareness to become aware that these are the principles, get behind it, or I have to basically sacrifice you or sacrifice my principles, one of the two.
Absolutely. Ready to go to the second variety?
Sure.
And I'm going to fix this again because it's the same
Yeah, this
mistake.
one's going to be far more the logical aspect of all of that. The revolution is totally there. However, we're going to see this driving force that wants to have a fun time getting it right rather than steadfastly behind the principle itself, or I'll cut your head off. That's 49. And gate four is like, hey, youthful folly. What's this idea? That's a good opinion. I wonder if that'll go with this. So this one has that flavor to it.
So next up, we have the second variety of the left angle cross of revolution. This is part of quarter 3, the quarter of duality, which is about relationships and bonding. And it's gates 4, 49, 8, and 14. And these people are born around August 15th through the 17th. These are people who are projected upon to provide the practical reasons and contribute the resources necessary to instigate a revolution, or not. Ra continues. One of those things to giggle about is that revolution comes out of blind formalizing. As its root, that is a real hit or miss piece of business. What it is going to depend on is that it's left angle, transpersonal, and if it's the fifth line. It is about what is practical. That is a conditioning factor. In other words, if that formula doesn't have some kind of practical basis, it isn't going to be able to be revolutionary. Here in the Cross of Revolution, we have the practical answers with the fifth line that have to be there. These are not people that simply want to have a formula for a formula's sake. Appreciating the fact that a formula can work theoretically, they are really interested in what has practical application. Ra says as himself, I am a practical revolutionary with the 49.5. If human design weren't practical, it wouldn't be useful. What's the point of anything that isn't fifth line practical? Of course, that is a line philosophy. With this revolution, we are talking about a practical revolution based on practical theories, not cocoa mammy stuff.
Yeah. And there is no room for spiritual enlightenment like at this moment of impact. The practicality has to be practical, boots on the ground, practical. And because you can never get rid of the tribe on this at all, it's got to be resource practical. This period, it has to be resource. It's going to take up too much money. That's going to cost too much. It's going to be too much of a resource hardship. Not doing it. There's already excess in this particular iteration of this cross because excess is the name of the sixth line, I believe. The fifth line would be seduction, and the sixth line would be excess or too muchness. Basically, the fifth line of this is practical, and it says, hey, enlist some others and let them think it was their idea and let them think it was their thing so that they can go ahead and you can sort of escape retribution in case things go wrong that way. That's a practical thing to do, meaning get others involved. It's just about getting others involved, spreading out the liability essentially. Revolution is costly. Let's spread out that liability so I'm not stuck paying for the whole thing. And that's what's practical. It gets others on board. But when you get to the sixth line of this, it's willing to even check out, just like the sixth line of 28 is like, I'm gonna I'm gonna take risks up to and including breaking my neck to find the purpose of this. This is excess, and it says I'm gonna possibly keep going to an excess until someone butts up against me and says, that's finally too far of a revolution. And so this one is willing to go to a slight excess to really test the limits of the theory of the logical process, But 49 is still on the other side, grounding it, saying, in this iteration, grounding it, saying, if you go too far, there will be retribution and there might even be discipline and punishment. So, youthful folly, this is one instance where you're not always immune from prosecution. So be careful here in this left angle. This left angle has to be practical business, but it has to universalize and transpersonalize and basically be able to transition into the others, into the tribe with all of the things that are the right principles to keep it going.
Perfect. Ready, Mosey?
Mhm.
So in conclusion, the left angle cross of revolution, the role is driving revolutionary change through principles and individuality. Individuals challenge outdated systems to create new possibilities. The purpose is to spark transformation by rejecting old norms, gate 49, and channeling resources, gate 14, for collective progress. Emphasize logical solutions, gate 4, or authentic contribution, gate 8, to inspire change.
We must be moving into uh, contagion.
I believe so.
I believe so.
I'll check.
Yeah, so as the formulas are basically put into place, and everything becomes this logical process that meets up with certain practical principles, again, determined by the tribe. The tribe's got to get close enough to you to touch it and smell it and feel it, right? And give it a hug or push it back, right? And defend its young and all of that stuff. That's what the tribe's all about. And so by the time the logical process has taken place and gate 14 and 8 come along, it's ready to go to work and make a contribution. I mean, you got the wheel always takes a break for us. It always takes a break. It gets a little heavy. Hey, we're chopping off people's heads in a revolution. Okay, we're done with that. Let's get to work and make some contributions here, and the contribution will always be towards the nine-centered way when we're working as ourselves. So removal of the old norms is a good idea, right? But however, not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. It's removal of old norms that no longer serve.
Yeah, it's the balance to that side of sometimes we need new ideas and sometimes we need to stick to the ideas that have worked and keep people alive for so many years and, generations. So it's that balance of two, of knowing when it's time to have a revolution and knowing when it's time to stick with tradition.
Absolutely. The tradition is going to be needed, and we'll see plenty of that in 49's movement into 37 anyway. So the wheel and the body graph and the movement of the streams are neatly contained in such a logical process. It never ceases to make sense, no matter how many times we go around. It doesn't matter what point we start at, the hula hoop always hula hoops. So I feel pretty good about this.
Perfect. Yeah, I feel really good. I think we did a really good job. A really long episode. We did our Ajna fears, and then we did our left angle cross of masks, and then left angle cross of revolution. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with today's episode.
By the way, Moni, when you asked me, do you want to do the next one? You want to know what my sacral truth was?
Well, that's what I figured.
I
And I
know,
was
I know, I know. But I was like, no, no, there's an ego being. Let the ego. We probably should. Let's just do another one. Say some stuff. You know what? When you start, you'll like it. Sacral will start talking. Just fool yourself, Dan. It's
so
perfect.
funny. I was in no push to do it. I kind of felt like it was already going to be too
Did you see that
long.
there was a hesitation?
Yeah, no, I did. I did. And I was like, okay, you
Good.
want to do it? I'll do it. Sure. So, well, we got through two left angles. So
I'm
next week
glad we
we'll,
got it out of the way. Yep, got it out of
yeah.
the way.
Yeah. Uh, Next week, we'll be continuing our Fear Gates of Human Design series, our spooky season series with the Fear Gates of the solar plexus. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll be able to jump into at the right angle cross of explanation as our incarnation cross.
Yep, that was where we were headed. So this was really good. Thanks, everyone. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, thank you for liking, subscribing. If you want to donate, you can hit that QR code or our coffee link, just Awaken Your Human Design if you look it up, or there's the donate thing. Again, if you want to contact Danny, there is his email, dannyguru.com, or there's his QR code. There we go. Up. Doop. There we go. I figured out. Doop. Danny's
Oh, that's
QR code.
funny. That's why those people are always doing that on podcasts, aren't it? I get
Yeah.
it. It always looks a little clumsy how they're pointing at something. Now I get why, because
Yeah,
you're,
it's like being a meteorologist, you know what I
it's,
mean? You just have
yep.
to pretend and learn how to do it. So there's Danny's QR code if you want to email him. There's my QR code and my email. You can find me at awakenyourhd@gmail.com. So super, super fun. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And we'll catch you next week. It'll be really fun. We'll continue our spooky season series and keep deep diving and learning and having fun.
Love you, everyone. Catch you next week.
Bye.